look at this.
Ooh.
I'm obviously with you there, Maynard. I'd be on top of the world. I was not even like 1% a scoop when I was 18. I was like building grunts and losing all of them all the time. And here's Reynor building Zerglings and doing it way better than I did. What's that drone up to? Is Reynor actually going to like disrupt the build order from Nice?
Yeah, he's trying to go for a hatchery block on the natural, I feel.
Or...
Oh, what? Excuse me? Scusi? Scusi, Reynor? Scusi? Scusi. What is this? A hatchery in the main of Nice?
You know, the funny thing is that I actually face this kind of stuff very often myself when I play, but that's because I'm a bit of a donkey, Maynard. I like to go Nexus first, so that obviously means you have later access to the Zealot. I think Reynor knows that this hatchery is not going to accomplish that much. It is a pretty big investment. There's no gas, by the way, in the main base of Reynor, as the observer is showing us, and that's a big tell that this is just kind of, in a weird way, Maynard, this is pressure. I think he's just hoping for an overreaction, and he's hoping for a mistake on the side of Nice, but all you young Zerg players out there at home, I don't truly recommend the build that Reynor is doing right now.
To everyone else at home, just take your natural. Be a good boy. Yeah. This is something that this is very you know, this is nuanced. This is advanced. What Reynor is doing, it doesn't feel like it. I'm sure there's a lot of Gold League memers out there that put their hatcheries in the main base of Protosses, but to make this work against someone as good as Nice, yeah, it's a little bit tough. It looks like he's actually just he's getting close to letting that finish. He's gonna let it finish. So. I mean, he will have a queen production. He will have lings in production. I don't think he's making a drone from this hatchery. So not like he's going to get spines or anything, but I guess he'll have broodlings. Bit of a weird start.
Yeah, a bit of a weird start, but don't forget that Reynor didn't take any gases at home, and he is expanding right now. So in a way, you can almost say that this is just a response. It's like, you know what? If Protoss players want to be super annoying, grab one of their first probes, send it to the other side of the map, and block me, I'm going to make sure that I'm delaying their expand. Like, no Protoss is really willing to take the risk of expanding immediately while there is a hatchery going up in the main base. And you know, I'm applying some blind logic right now. You don't need to win the game here, but even getting a creep tumor down would be so big because obviously it's going to take forever. I'm starting to love this Maynard. This is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. As long as he doesn't take too much damage from the adepts at home. And can he get the creep tumor up? I think he can. The adepts are going to try to prevent it. Oh my goodness.
Oh, they got the creep tumor. Yeah. All right, well, the creep tumor does get denied for now, but that's a queen, which is very, very tanky against these adepts. So she might have that 25 energy in a second here for another one. And hatchery is getting low. And Reynor also snuck a spine crawler that was one shot from dying.
Maynard. Reynor, Nice is really misreading this. He is super overreacting.
And he's supply blocked.
Yeah, but he doesn't need those 2 extra batteries in the main. Like, sure, that spine is dangerous. There are a couple of slow Zerglings everywhere. But I really don't think he needs those extra batteries. What he needs to do is start thinking of how to take his natural. Oh, man, this is actually getting really bad for Nice. Reynor is droning up at home, and he's already 4 workers ahead.
Yeah, and there is no nexus here for Nice. Like, he's not been able to take that naturally. He looks like he's maybe about to, but he has to get rid of this Zerg infestation inside of his main base first. This spine crawler is so annoying. It's so good against the depths.
Yeah, you don't, and obviously the adepts don't have that much range, right? The Stalker has an easier time. Reynor's gonna try to grab one of these adepts, and he will. No. Oh my goodness, Reynor is just like having way too much fun with this. This should be illegal, Maynard.
It should be illegal. I looked over the player cam just to see if Reynor was like smiling and he had like a cigar hanging out of his mouth and you know, a glass of Cristal. But unfortunately, he seems pretty focused right now. None of what I assumed was happening.
Oh my god, he squeezed out another drone and he's even building a second spine. Like,
get out of here.
Reynor is not trying to win the game with this opening. What Reynor is trying to do is just make sure that this goes on forever. While he is obviously recovering at home. During all of this, Reynor did take his gas. He's got speedlings right now. Somehow even manages to kill one of the gateways. Now, when it's all settled and done, Maynard, Nice is at 23 probes. Reynor is at 39 drones. That is an insane lead. And Reynor is going up to 3 bases, while Nice, his natural has only just started. I mean, this is massive.
Oh, okay, Reynor's making a ton of lings. He's going to try and bust him open.
Yeah. Which I actually think is like the only way that you could potentially maybe throw your lead here. Because imagine if Nice would have been building double void right now. He's not. We know he's not. So this attack is probably going to be more than fine. But imagine if there are still those batteries and then it's double void ray. I feel that Reynor would give Nice like the tiniest of tiny chances in this game. At this point, it's just a couple of very simple gateway units and a few phoenixes against a lot of Zerglings and roaches. And Reynor, this fight ain't even fair.
Nah, I mean, one of the things you can really ruin in a double Stargate Phoenix composition, as you know, Roddy, is just a lot of lings. GG.
Very Bly thing to do. He's going to get the block on the natural, so this is straight away. It's straight away kind of exactly what you kind of expect this to be, right? Not really too surprising that Bly gets that block off. At the same time, Drogo is going to be able to block the natural, so Bly will be forced to a third location. And Drogo's just going to straight up go double gate against this, which means he doesn't pull many probes against the hatchery. He will just look for 2 zealots into 2 adepts, and that gives him a huge amount of counterattack potential once this hatchery is cleaned up.
Yeah, but that Cybercore is still going to be able to go down immediately after that first gateway finishes, so the tech will be on point. He'll have those kind of follow-ups ready and waiting. Bly going for that forward third base is, it's a kind of interesting move. I mean, it's a very Bly thing to do also, just say, like, I'm going to have bases that are closer to you so I can attack you and rally units out faster, but it's going to take Drogo a hot second to realize, all right, let me check the other base. Oh, yep, there it is.
Yep, just making sure that there is a base going down, right? Tells them that isn't overly committed to doing something with this hatchery. And as you can see, that Zealot swipe in second one to join. And look at that from Bly, already an evolution chamber going down. Now, Drogo will see that super early on. That, I mean, that's a really fast evolution. That's not an evolution chamber, that's this one, but what am I thinking?
I was
later?
like,
What am I talking about? I actually have no idea. Right.
See, I didn't throw you under the bus. Yeah, I didn't throw you under the bus.
Under the bus.
I just watched you walk onto the street. I saw the bus coming. I just chose not to say anything.
You know what it is as well? The worst thing is I turned and saw the bus coming as well, because I was like, what am I talking about? Amazing.
Is there a bus? Yeah.
I was going to say, like, 2-minute Evo chamber. Like, this man's a madman.
Well, that's still, you're right. He is still a madman over here, but I'm worried. Okay, there's going to be 2 zealots moving across the map over here. They're going to wail away at this hatchery. The funny thing is there are actually a decent number of Zerglings coming on out. Does Drogo, after he sees like 10, 12 Zerglings coming on out, would you just recall here?
I mean, you can, but honestly, 2 zealots and 2 adepts trade really well here anyway, right?
Oh,
They're slow lings, and you're still denying the hatchery on the natural. The big thing is that Bly's got a hatchery on the left side, and if Drogo doesn't realize that, roaches are going to start pouring out of it, and that may be an issue, but he is going Stargate as the next step, so I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely buying a lot of time over here. You're right. These Zerglings in this number are not quite enough, especially without speed, to take on this fight. But Queen pops out. Another Adept shows up over here. And as long as Drogo is buying time over here and not losing a bunch of these units, that's just not going to happen at that kind of choke point, right? He's going to have the opportunity to recall later. And yeah, there it is. He's actually already forced out a bunch of units, which, let's be real, Bly was already planning to make, but he feels like he's forced out a bunch of units. He's delayed any droning. He's delayed any mining that was going to happen over there. And he saw, yeah, there's a lot of units out. You just have to be prepared for an attack now.
Yep, going to be seeing. Oh, he did have a Void Ray on the way, but he decides against it. The Void Ray was the right call for your Dragon. The Void Ray against roaches. The thing is, Drogo just, he's blind. He doesn't know about that base on the left side, and he kind of made the read, but then he didn't. I'm a little rough for him right here, because the Oracle alone, it's nice. It's just a Void Ray would have been that much better.
I'm definitely with you on that. The nice thing is that if he does see this attack coming on in right afterwards, he will have the opportunity to try and make a Void Ray afterwards. And remember, Void Rays do make a little bit faster. Oh, but the floodgates have to be opened up because of the corrosive vials from those roaches. Oracle's going to be able to get a lot of value over here and dodge out of the way. The corrosive vial is killing off so many of these lings. Yes, it does seem like there's not that many probes left alive over here in the natural expansion here for Drogo, but I mean, Bly has to do a ton of damage to make this work.
Yep, just going to be seeing a couple biles off on the pile at the front. If he loses that pile, then that's obviously a big issue, right? But
yeah,
I don't think he will. This Ravager's going to go down, and new Oracle is out. At this point, the Oracle's turned out to be okay, right? He actually just had a way better defense than I really expected this to be, considering he was so blind against it.
Yeah, he is not going to get blindsided in this game, as the Void Ray is also going to be coming on out to add that consistent DPS that the Oracles have not been able to offer. Shield batteries finishing. I feel like that is the final kind of cement wall that Bly just does not have the power to actually break through very easily anymore.
Yeah, I mean, even if you knock the gateways down now, at this point, Drogo, he's obviously able to fight even if the Lings flood in. He's got a Void Ray about to join, and Bly's only on 18 drones. There's not really, much of a transition away or out of this at all. It's a little bit rough, honestly. I mean, what are you going to do? Queens, Lings, Ravagers to get into this natural? you might be able to break into the natural, but I really just don't see what happens beyond that, right? Because you've got the second pylon power and the shield batteries still. You've got a Void Ray out as well. And I mean, eventually you're just going to have enough, anti-air to get rid of these queens. And once the queens go down, I don't think anything else really dies.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of thinking about it. I do like that Bly's at least getting some more creep spread going further, a tiny bit further forward. That's going to cover up some of this area, so it's going to be harder to re-wall, but shield battery does get popped over there with the overcharge. A couple of links managed to sneak their way on in. Didn't even notice those, but he's going to be able to at least split up Drogo a little bit, but he cannot take a fight while that shield battery overcharge is still active.
Yeah, the overcharge is just so powerful, and what's kind of scary here for Bly, I feel, is like he's forced to overcharge, but I don't know if he can fight in a game before the next overcharge is ready, Like, I don't think he can make a difference before Drogo's ready to go again, and Drogo's even getting adventurous. He's realizing, oh my god, you have like nothing here. And he's starting to adventure out of his own natural every now and again, just to get a few extra shots off, because he knows he can fall back to those shield batteries very comfortably.
And you actually look at the situation and you're like, oh, well, I mean, Bly is only a few drones down, but you can actually see that Drogo is making more workers right now. And it's just the fact that Bly doesn't have anything to fall back to. He doesn't have a lair behind all this. He doesn't have a bunch of upgrades or an Evo chamber. He doesn't even have a third base on his side of the map right now. Like, he is 150% all in off of this. He has to find a way to make this work. And if he doesn't, well, that's the series, Wardy. That's all he can do in the group stage.
Yep. I mean, at that point, Bly is just hoping for that Lambo result to come through so he can still get through to the playoffs. As we do have Queens here fighting these couple of Oracles, the Void Rays having to back off as well. I mean, this is the thing. Bly is kind of containing Drogo, but to what end? 20 drones? He's added 2 drones since the start. It's not like there's a transition away from this, really. And yeah, Drogo's army may not be getting way better, but it's still kind of just, good enough against what's here. Now he's going to get rid of these queens, and once these queens are gone, the Void Rays can kill everything else, and Bly is going to be falling apart right now.
Yeah, he's just going to try and move in because he has no other choice. This entire army is just going to get pushed back by a good old Void Ray Oracle army. Although, oh man, Ghost Crows the battles managed to hit their mark, but not quite enough DPS to actually finish any of them off. The Void Ray is the consistent DPS. One Void Ray might go down. Well, that's a nice snag there for Bly, but again, yeah, it's a tough situation again for Bly. I feel like we've been talking a lot about that, but really, really well done by Drogo. I feel like this is what we were talking about at the beginning of this series, where Drogo played really, really well in just doing that safe setup for everything. And like, even in game 1, we go back to Stargate opening being extremely, extremely good versus Bly, and we just actually literally saw that a little bit in this game. But even in that last game, the Oracle's buying a lot of time. Like, the Dark Templar follow-up is just such a good reaction to any Zerg player that doesn't get a lair and is trying to all-in you. Like, Drogo just approached this series with a lot of thought of like, all right, this is Bly. How do I make sure Bly can't kill me if I know he's good? I don't know if he's going to all-in me on 1 base or 2 base or 3 base, but I know he's going to all-in me. So with that information, what build order choices do you go for? And Drogo did an excellent job of choosing.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing, right? You just got to play safe against Bly, but not too safe, so that you go behind if he does play normal. And I think Drogo found a good balance for that, because I was scared for Drogo, right? So he didn't play completely like blind counter, I'm super safe all the time. He played, safe enough that I was still a bit scared when these all-ins came. And I think that's the right level, and obviously in the end he responded correctly. He never really had much trouble, and once he got past the difficult parts, he got to this point here. And I think Drogo has shown us he's definitely a strong enough player to justify being, in the playoffs. And at this point, remember, he might even get top 2 if that Stefano result continues going that way. He could get top 2 and go straight to the winner bracket, which is obviously like, that's massive.
Yeah. Well, here comes the big death push. We're going to knock out another hatchery. I'm going to actually be so sad if Drogo just retreats after killing the hatchery.
I know.
But I also wouldn't blame him. Oh, is he going to get the lair?
I mean, the thing is, though, like, he's killing the lair at the same time. I think it's just like, you know what, let's just attack. He knows how far ahead he is, and at some point, there's just no point going home any longer, right? You know how low-tech your opponent is. You've really hit that mass where you've got Immortals and Archons and a good army to back it up. And it just doesn't make sense to back away and let, Bly make another hatchery and try and build more units.